Good evening, and welcome to the May 4th meeting of the Joliet City Council. The Mayor, Robert Odekirk, is presiding. Oh, excuse me, I'm missing up some pieces. Father Gross of the St. Mary Magdalene Church at 127 Briggs Street will lead us into the invocation and then into the pledge right after. So please stand.
Almighty God, you generously bestow your gifts in abundance to us all, and we are so grateful for all that you do and for the many favors you grant us daily. We have gathered together in your name. We ask that you would come and enlighten the members of our city council. May everything they do begin with your inspiration and with your wisdom. God of wisdom and justice, through you all authority is rightly administered, laws are enacted, and judgments are decreed. Give your guidance to our mayor, to the members of our city council, to our city manager, and to our city staff. Give them the strength to know your will, so that all the decisions they make may be done with a desire to please you. May their work be conducted with righteousness, and may they always promote what is for the good and welfare of all of the people of Joliet. We likewise commend to your care the residents of our city, that they too may be blessed and sanctified, so that together we may work for the betterment of our community and enjoy the blessings promised to those who remain faithful to you. For we pray to you who are our Lord and God forever and ever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chris.
First on the agenda this evening is a presentation by Pastor.
Roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Good catch.
We're
Mayor
all-
Odekirk,
Here.
Councilman Clement,
Here.
Councilwoman Gavin,
Here.
Councilman Guerrero,
Here.
Councilman Hug,
Here.
Councilman Morris,
Here.
Councilman Mudrin,
Here.
Councilwoman Coleman,
Here.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Here.
Next is a presentation by Pastor Posley, Citywide Call for Peace.
I want to say thank you for this great opportunity. This is a prayer answered. I really appreciate to the mayor, to the city council men and women, to those that's sitting out in the audience. We want to tell you thank you for this great opportunity. The first thing that I would like to say is that with this prayer agenda, there are goals that I don't have enough brochures. I did give some, but we have goals set. There's a process, and then there's a desired outcome with this prayer agenda. Also, on the next page, we have is a prayer of thankfulness for protection, for protecting our community and our city. We have that as well, but I'll make sure that I have agenda for everyone the next time. Then also, as we turn to the third page, locations of prayer. A few years ago, there was a lot of gun violence going on, and the mayor and several city council men and women, as well as the chief of police, which at that time was Benton, and the Will County Sheriff came out, and we hit all four corners of the city. During that time, when we did that, there was no homicides had taken place. We covered it with prayer, we saturated in prayer. And what I believe in, I ran track, and I believe in staying in my lane. And I'm good at, this is a joke, I have 99 problems, but preaching is not one of them. And I truly thank God for this great opportunity. I'm in my zone now, but I'm not gonna ask for an offering or tithes. So what we would like to do is gather on Saturdays for at least once 1 month. On the east gate is Collins Street entrance. We can pray there at noon. Then the west gate, Route 59, at Cole's parking lot, we could pray there. We're inviting city officials, all that will come and be with us. And on the south gate is Doris and Route 53. The north gate, Route 53 and Broadway. because I know that prayer works. I've been praying now. I remember I told my wife that God had laid on my heart to pray until he comes back. And my God, I don't know why I said that. It's been a year and 6 months now. Every morning at 6 a.m., I'm up praying. And see, what we have to do is do what God has called us to do. I like what Michelle Obama said, don't let anybody take you low. You stay high, let them go low. And so I believe in staying in my zone, staying where I need to be. I've been praying for this city council. I started with Mayor O'Connor, started with him, started with Chief Gertis, not Gertis, but Nowicki, started with Dennis Nowicki. And from that, I was on the gang task force, but I stayed in my lane. I was the new kid on the block. Pastor Singleton adopted me as his godson, then Bishop Sanders. Now I guess it's my time to step to the plate. And when you come to the plate, your job is to hit the ball and do your best that you can. And so I'm asking you that if you consider, and if you want to call, I have a prayer line number. I'll get that to the city as well. But on Tuesday mornings, I pray at 6. If you want to tune in and pray with us, I would like the judges to call in, the chief of police to call in, the city council to call in at 6 in the morning. And we're praying for you faithfully, because I know the prayers of the righteous availeth much. And so we do truly, truly thank you for this great opportunity. And you know, once I sit with the mayor and sit with who I need to sit with, we can start this process as soon as possible. And so I hope that this is something that you will accept and become a part of, because we're known as the city of champions. We got to step to the plate and become what we say we are. The most sad thing is to say something that you're not doing. And so we want to become what we say we are. God is a God of diversity, and I'm an artist. I'm getting ready to do some work for George Floyd now. I started with Trayvon Martin and doing something for Breonna Taylor. I'll be flying down there, but I ask for your support as that as well. But please consider this prayer agenda that we put together by praying and believing that God can do anything but fail. Again, we thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. We will put this out when we get the schedule on the city website. And also forward it to some other elected officials and the chief judge, because I think others would want to participate with us. So thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Pastor.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Next is a presentation by City Planner Jane Bernhard promoting our city's heritage.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jane Bernhardt. I'm one of the city's city planners on staff, as well as I serve as the staff liaison to the city's Historic Preservation Commission. I am here tonight because May is Historic Preservation Month, and I want to update you on major initiatives that the city staff and Historic Preservation Commission are working on to promote our city's heritage and celebrate our city's history. So first, I want to launch this presentation with a quick overview of the Historic Preservation Commission's 3 main functions. First, we make recommendations to the council on the designation of local historic landmarks or local historic districts. 601 North Center Street was designated by the council in 2019. Our second function is we work to protect the integrity of what has been designated as a historic property. We do this by issuing or denying applications for certificates of appropriateness, which are essentially pre-building permits. In front of you, I have a picture of 360 Whittier Avenue. We worked with that family just last week on their application. We also protect the integrity of our designated historic properties by ensuring that they don't deteriorate due to neglect. So the deteriorating condition of the U.S. Steel's administration building on Collins Street was brought to our attention by several people. And I'm happy to report tonight that the commission and staff have been successful in their discussions with U.S. Steel. The company has committed to fixing the roof and further stabilizing the building. And these discussions with U.S. Steel have also positively set in motion more discussions on the future redevelopment of the entire site. The third major function of the commission is that we seek to promote Joliet's heritage and history. We are almost finished with our survey of the St. John's neighborhood, which is one of the earliest settlement areas of the city. And among other things, the findings of the survey will lay the foundation of 1 or more National Register historic districts in the neighborhood and will assist with the future development of special thematic tours of the area. Similarly, the Downtown Historic Resource Survey project is underway. And the primary goal of this project is to allow buildings to be eligible to receive state and federal historic tax credits for qualified rehabilitation projects. The second, well, there's pictures of two buildings that have, one's been long vacant, one East Cass, and one at a newer building that's come online is 9 West Cass, and they could benefit from these tax credits if they were in a National Register Historic District. The secondary goal of this project is to enhance downtown heritage tourism opportunities by utilizing the survey information to create thematic tours and by having this information inputted into a publicly available web-based platform. The Historic Preservation Commission and city staff also partner with other organizations that share the same interests. The Railroad Museum Project is our first example. With grant funding that we received in 2019, the city, working in conjunction with the Joliet Area Historical Museum, are in the process of establishing a museum on Joliet's railroad history in the Union Depot Tower at the Joliet Gateway Center train station. The city saved the 1914 tower as part of the construction of the Gateway Center train station. The tower still houses, as the picture shows, the equipment that controlled rail movement through this busy crossing of railroad lines. And the third floor of this tower is really an awesome place. The tower offers unparalleled 360-degree views of current freight and passenger rail movement through this crossing. The second example is the old Joliet prison. The city and museum continues to seek out grant funding to address stabilization needs and to promote tourism. And as a result of our collective grant writing efforts, we were able to establish a visitors center in the former guardhouse at the prison. The visitors center and gift shop opened just this past Saturday. It is now open daily from 10 to 5 and it accommodates walk-up visitors. The city also recently submitted a grant to the National Park Service for funding to augment ongoing research on the prison's role regarding racial bias, equity, and criminal justice reform, both past and present. In sum, there is a heritage preservation framework in place. The commission and staff are promoting the city's historic assets. The stars are places I just mentioned. Other programs by our partners that fit into this framework include the following. The Joliet Area Historical Museum, which has been promoting our downtown's distinct architecture by offering guided walking tours every Saturday. The Forest Preserve District offers tours at the historic ironworks site throughout the year. The Rialto Square Theater is back to offering weekly tours in their palatial theater. Other planned projects by our partners that we are aware of include a museum that features the immigrant experience as well as the overall historic neighborhood experience in Joliet within a preserved 1929 store and residence at the corner of Elizabeth and Russell Streets. And this is a Joliet Area Historical Museum project. And preparations are already underway by the museum and their partners, such as the Heritage Corridor Visitors Bureau, to celebrate the centennial of Route 66. The year 2026 marks its 100th year anniversary. And then adding to this heritage preservation framework are the city's designated historic areas. The Upper Bluff National Register Historic District and the East Side National Register Historic District. And then you add in all of our 130 locally designated historic properties. Overall, staff and the commission are working hard to leverage our existing historic assets and are working with our partners to create new avenues for tourism, economic development, and growth. The commission feels that the preservation of buildings, structures, and sites of historic and architectural significance is within the long-term interest of our neighborhoods and the city as a whole. Our diverse, distinctive, and historic buildings, structures, neighborhoods play an important role in our overall efforts to maintain an interesting and vibrant city. Thank you for allowing me to share our enthusiasm and my enthusiasm for our special historic places as we kick off Historic Preservation Month in the city of Joliet. Thanks.
Thank you, Jane.
Next is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin,
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilman Morris,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Next is citizens to be heard on agenda items. Robert Hernandez, Council Memo 246-21.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Tonight, I'm going to speak about the purchase of the parking deck. And I'm glad that Mr. Bays is here so he can hear me as well, loud and clear. I do a lot of live feeds. I walk the neighborhoods all over the city, north, west, south, and east. And most of the people that I've talked to agree with me that this process should be an open bidding process. It should not just be given to Mr. Bays for him to buy at his pleasure. I know that he stated that he's tiring of the process taking so long. Well, it shouldn't matter how much money someone has in their pocket. Everybody should be treated with respect, dignity, and equality. And this should be an open bid process. And regardless of who bids on it, whether it's a local person or someone from Chicago or Minnesota or New York, it shouldn't matter because we have corporate offices here from all over the country now, and none of you have ever met the CEOs or the board members. So I think it should be an open bid process. It should go to the highest bidder, not just be given to Mr. Bays because he wants it. And if he doesn't get it, he's gonna throw a tantrum. Too bad. It should be an open process where it should go out for bid. That's my position, and I believe the majority of residents of Joliet believe that. I've talked to many seniors. I see hundreds of seniors, and they agree with me 100%. I'm not gonna go back in history and talk about what happened in the 70s or 80s. That's history. This is 2021. Back in the 70s and 80s when political deals were made and behind closed doors, and it was who you know and how much you can contribute. That's history. This is 2021. Times have changed, and we need to be in 2021. This should be an open process. This bidding process should be open and not just handed to Mr. Bays because he has a lot of money and because he's made investments in this city. Everyone should be treated equally with dignity and respect, regardless of the color of their skin, their ethnicity, or how much money they have in their pocket. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on an agenda item? Seeing none, next is council committee reports, Public Service Committee.
All right, well, the Public Service Committee met yesterday at 4:30 here in the Executive Council room. It was a short agenda. In attendance and on the committee were Councilman Morris, Councilwoman Gavin, and myself, as well as Greg Ruddy, Director of Public Works, and Allison Swisher, Director of Public Utilities. And as I said, it was a short and kind of generic, let me bring it up here. Generic agenda. We had 7 items, under contracts. We went through all 7 of the items. And we looked at them. They range from a contract to clean our water towers, the exterior of the water towers, 5 of the 7 that we have, to buying some golf carts, not to play golf, to be used by the utilities department on the different grounds where they check meters and have to do other things throughout the campus. So like I said, it was pretty generic. We went through the whole agenda. We only had one change order pay estimate or final payment, and that was for a throttle pipe replacement. Again, all these items are on tonight's council agenda, and all of them had a unanimous approval from all 3 council members to be sent to the full council with a recommendation for approval by the full council. And that's pretty much it, I believe. I didn't miss anything.
No, and you didn't, sir.
Carrie? No. Okay. Mayor, that would be my report for tonight.
That's fine. And then, Krista, at the next meeting, are we gonna fill out the rest of the committees that I submitted?
Yes.
Okay.
And that was the only meeting that we held since the last agenda, so those are the ones we list, but we will put on the website too what committee members are moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Next is consent agenda, approval of the minutes. It's recommended the minutes of the pre-council meeting held on April 19th, 2021, and the minutes of the council meeting held on April 20th, 21, stand approved as recorded. Council memo 222-21, position vacancies. It's recommended the city manager be authorized to fill one operating engineer position in place of the previously approved assistant operating engineer position and any subsequent vacancies which may occur. Council memo 223-21, authorization to engage Catton, Muchin, Rosenman as bond counsel and JP Morgan Securities as senior managing underwriter for debt issuance for the Alternative Water Source Initiative. It's recommended Council memo 223-21 be approved. Council memo 224-21, award of contract for the removal and replacement of Weil McLean boiler at Historic Union Station, 50 East Jefferson Street. Council memo 225-21, award of contract for the exterior cleaning of the city's water storage tanks contract to National Wash Authority in the amount of $34,000. Council memo 226-21, award of contract for the water treatment plant residuals disposal project 2021 to Envirite of Illinois in the amount of $215,000. Council memo 227-21, award of contract for the well house upgrades 2021 to Torrey Construction in the amount of $175,543.20. Council memo 228-21, award of contract for the purchase of golf carts for the Utilities Division to Harris Golf Cars in the amount of $33,697. Council memo 229-21, award of contract for the lift station pump replacement 2021 to Xylem Water Solutions in the amount of $47,801.60. Council memo 230-21, award of contract for the 2021 sewer cleaning and inspection program to National Power Rotting in the amount of $492,921.50. Council memo 231-21, award of contract for the 2021 pavement marking program to Superior Road Striping in the amount of $191,282. Council memo 232-21, purchase of automated brine maker for the roadways division from Cargill in the amount of $71,237. Council memo 233-21, change order number 1 and final payout for the emergency East Duncan throttle pipe replacement to Construction by Camco in the amount of $6,824.33. It's recommended council memos 224-21 through 233-21 be approved. Is there a motion to approve all consent agenda items?
Motion to approve.
Second. It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under licenses and permit applications, Council Memo 235-21, issuance of a Class B liquor license at 1730 Essington Road, Rosemary Cafe.
Mayor, City Council, public hearing was held on 4/15/21 at 9:04 for a request of a Class B license. The applicant is DMT Foods LLC, Bill Dimitriosis, DBA Rosemary Cafe, located at 1730 Essington Road. No citizen appears in opposition. No fees were owed to the city. Business Services has no issues. Building Department has no issues. Fire Department has no issues. Based on the facts of this hearing, the Liquor Commissioner is recommending approval of the liquor license.
Questions?
No, actually, that's the old Sonny's Delight for those that don't realize. And it's great to get some kind of business in there after several years of being vacant.
Is there a motion to approve Council Memo 235-21, issuance of a Class B liquor license at 1730 Essington Road, Rosemary Cafe?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is Council Memo 236-21, issuance of a Class B liquor license at 205 Chicago Street, Juliet's Tavern.
Public hearing was held on 4/15/21 at 9:09 a.m. for a request for Class B liquor license. The applicant is DMT Foods LLC, Bill Dimitrios, DBA Juliet's Tavern, 205 Chicago Street, Joliet, Illinois. No citizens appeared in opposition. Ron Romero from the Rock and Roll Museum came in support. There's a $100 alarm fee still owed to the city. Business services have no issues. The building department has no issues. The fire department has no issues. And based on the facts of the hearing, the liquor commissioner is recommending approval.
Questions?
Is there a motion to approve Council Memo 236-21, issuance of a Class B liquor license at 205 Chicago Street, Juliet's Tavern?
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilman Morris,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin,
Aye. Glad to get the doors back open.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 237-21, issuance of a Class B liquor license at 2307 West Jefferson Street, Amigos Sophisticated Street Food.
We're gonna table this license until at least 5/18/21. We're still working on some building and permits and stuff. We talked to the licensee and we're gonna move that to Wednesday.
Is there a motion to table Council Memo 237-21, issuance of a Class B liquor license to Amigos Sophisticated Street Food at 2307 West Jefferson Street to the May 18th council meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to table. Councilman Morris,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin,
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Motion carried. 237-21 is tabled to the May 18th council meeting. Council Memo 238-21, issuance of a Class B liquor license at 2314 West Jefferson Street, Red Crab Juicy Seafood.
A public hearing was held on 4/15/21 at 10:07 a.m. for a request for a Class B liquor license. The applicant is Chang Lu and Duang Chang, DBA Red Juicy Crab Seafood, located at 2314 West Jefferson Street. No citizens appeared in opposition. $326.18 in fees are owed to the city. Business services have no issues. The building department has no issues. The fire department has no issues. Based on the facts of the hearing, the liquor commissioner is recommending approval of the license.
Questions?
Is there a motion to approve Council Memo 238-21, issuance of a Class B liquor license at 2314 West Jefferson Street, Red Crab Juicy Seafood?
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin,
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 239-21, issuance of a Class B liquor license at 1511 Riverboat Center Drive, Cracker Barrel.
A public hearing was held on 4/15/2021 at 9:48 a.m. for a request of a Class B liquor license. The applicant is CBOCS West Inc., Angelina Picassos, DBA Cracker Barrel, located at 1511 Riverboat Center Drive. No citizens appeared in opposition. $1,458.81 in fees is owed to the city by 4/30/21. Business services have no issues. Building department has no issues. Fire department has no issues. Based on the facts of the hearing, the liquor commissioner is recommending approval of the license.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve Council Memo 239-21, issuance of a Class B liquor license at 1511 Riverboat Center Drive, Cracker Barrel. Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin,
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Just for clarification, when you mention the different amounts that are still owed, those will be paid before the license is actually,
No one gets a license until they owe no money to the
I
city.
just wanted to make sure everybody
Yeah,
understood that.
yeah.
Aye.
Councilman Morris. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Under ordinances and resolutions, Council Memo 241-21, an ordinance accepting a temporary construction easement in 1871 Hobart Road for the Hobart Road Interchange Modification and Roadway Reconstruction Project. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 242-21, an ordinance approving additional house plans for Graywall Club subdivision. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 243-21 is an ordinance amending Chapter 8, Article 4, Section 8-288, Open Burning Ordinance of the City of Joliet Code of Ordinances. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under resolutions, Council Memo 245-21, a resolution appropriating funds for the 2021 pavement marking program in the amount of $191,282. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 246-21, a resolution approving an agreement for the sale of real property at 11 East Clinton Street. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
Krista, before we call the roll again, Jim or Derek, could you give kind of a rundown of the history, how we got to this point? I know this was on the agenda previously and had been taken off. If you could give everyone an update, please.
So, this had been previously on the agenda, was taken off the agenda to make sure that we had gone through the proper process of letting people, it had to be published. So we did that. We received no inquiries whatsoever from any other business or entity even interested in acquiring this property. If you look at your notes, you can see that it would cost almost $1 million to bring this up to code. There's a certain point where an asset becomes a liability, and at this point, we're not selling an asset, we're divesting ourselves of a liability. So we believe, the staff and I believe, that this is in the best interest of the city at this particular point. If we cannot divest ourselves of this, then we need to either come up with $1 million to be able to renovate it and put it back into operation at full. And right now, we just don't have that kind of funding to be able to do those kinds of things. So that's where we're at right now, Mayor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would make a motion to approve.
Yes, Councilwoman?
What are the legalities here?
In terms of the bidding, is that what you're asking? So under our ordinances, sale of real property is exempt from the bidding requirements under our own ordinances.
And we had advertising, no one came forward.
We just had to publish it.
Understood.
Yes.
Question.
Yes.
Has it been checked on how we, the city, got this property back in the 70s or whenever it is, was built? I mean, was this property condemned, and do we have the right to sell it, or was it set that it had to be kept as public city property?
I
That been checked?
I cannot say, I cannot answer that, to be honest with you, Councilman. I know that currently we own clear title to this particular piece of property.
There's no thing coming against it from when we took it over?
There's no lien or anything that prevents us from selling this property that I'm aware of or in a title search has come to light.
Good.
There was a motion on the table. Is there a second?
Second.
And motion and seconded to approve Council Memo 246-21, which is a resolution approving an agreement for the sale of real property at 11 East Clinton Street. Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilman Morris,
I'd just like to say that I have full confidence in Mr. Bays to turn this parking lot around. As Jim has said, it's just been a liability to the city. I think he would bring it up to standards and that, you know, with that, I mean, we're trying to bring downtown back to what it was years ago. And I just have full confidence in Mr. Bays. And I think that we somewhat, as a city, you know, need to work with Mr. Bays and in his endeavors and other properties downtown. So I vote aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Parking decks and city parking plan has been talked about for the 7 years that I've been on this city council. We've talked about doing a study. It's never gotten any further. Issues have come up with COVID and money and an overall downtown plan. Other cities of our size and in our area have stopped downtown parking or stopped charging for downtown parking. I'm not saying we should do that, but I cannot vote for this until I see that we have an overall formal city parking plan. I have to vote no.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Question for Derek. Derek, how many parking spaces will this take away from the downtown area? And how important is that to our plan we're working on?
Currently, this deck has 340 parking spaces. And I think total, and I'll look to our Public Works Director, I think we have about 2,000 in the downtown roughly.
Yeah, that's correct. Currently, we have, I won't say an excess of parking, but plenty of available parking during the days. You know, pre-COVID, we had excess. Since COVID, we've had a significant surplus downtown.
So just to reiterate again, we posted it, nobody came in with bids. We posted the legality thing of it being to be sold. And also, it would be over $1 million for us to have to repair that when we could put those monies into something more important than right now. Is that correct, there?
Yeah, everything you said is correct.
Okay, I'll have to vote aye on that one.
Councilwoman Reardon,
I'll vote no.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin,
Mr. Bass, I thank you so much because I must have burnt your ears up about this project. At first, I was, you know, I hate selling city assets, right? But when in my investigation and speaking with staff and then also speaking with you, sir, I know your passion for this city. I understand that you are putting blood, sweat, tears, and coins into this city, and I certainly appreciate that. To hear city staff say they sent it out, we got no interest, this is a liability to this city, and right now we cannot stand that liability, sir. So I thank you for reaching out, and I'm going to vote yes, because you took your time and you walked me through, and I know we had a conversation, it lasted a while, but I appreciate that, sir. So I'll vote aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
If I could get a clarification then, because we heard from the gentleman, citizens to be heard on agenda items, and then I'm hearing now that this contract was opened up to bids. So I just like to make a clarification on that first.
No, we published that we published it twice that we were gonna bring it up for sale. We didn't open it for bid, but it was known to the public. We had no interest whatsoever. We've talked about this at several council meetings in the public. Again, there's been no interest. You know, we would have been glad to entertain any other buddy that was interested in this, but we have got no calls or anyone expressing interest in this. We get a lot of calls. You'd be surprised at how many people are interested in here coming to Joliet. But this was not one of those items that happened, so.
Good. So with that understanding, I think just in terms of procedure, I would like to see it open up to bids, and although I hope that the property does do well, I hope that Mr. Bays is able to, if purchasing it, is able to do something with the property and you know, see it do well. But just in terms of procedure on that grounds, we'll have to vote no.
Motion carried 5-3. Next is the city manager's report.
Thank you. I just very briefly, I want to mention something that just recently took place. You know, oftentimes we're talking about kind of gloom and doom, but there's COVID funding or earmarks that are coming forward. It used to be formerly known as earmarks from various congressional and Senate delegations. The city of Joliet put a lot of effort into this. The staff put a tremendous amount of effort. We submitted multiple requests for funding for Joliet projects, both transportation and infrastructure and in community project funding requests. So I just want to go briefly over. And we were in competition with Aurora, Naperville. These are our peers that were asking, having the same asks that we did. You know, this was open. So we got about a quarter of all those things that we asked for are going to go forward to Congress to be for a request for funding. So this is a tremendous because there are other projects that we didn't get everything we asked for in terms of being able to go forward, but we did get some of the things. So I just want to go over just very quickly what those are. Transportation infrastructure requests, the Grover Road and Laraway Road, that was $2.7 million to Route 6. The Hobart Road Bridge, that was $1.25 million that we requested, and they have said, yes, we'll bring this forward to the committees. Community project funding requests. Some were submitted by the city of Joliet, some by our nonprofits. One was the project New Lake Michigan Water Source. That was for $4.5 million. Congressman Underwood and Congressman Foster both supported this particular project. So we have that on, because we submitted to everyone who had any part of a congressional district touching Joliet. We submitted to all of those Congress people. So that was Congressman Foster, Underwood, and Newman. Congressman Newman did not act on any of ours. Congressman Underwood did support this particular project, and the rest of the things that we asked for came from Congressman Foster. So we certainly like to extend an appreciation to the elected members who saw fit to support us. Cornerstone Services, $1 million. The Housing Authority of Joliet, $9.25 million for affordable housing. The Joliet Historical Museum, $3.8 million. Stepping Stones, $1.9 million. Will Grundy Medical Clinic, $300,000. So as you can see, any one of those things that are funded is money that the city doesn't have to put towards these projects. So we should be very proud of the effort that we put forward. We're still waiting for some of the Senate earmarks to go forward. We are submitting for that. We are aggressively submitting for these things. We know that we're in a fight and we're in competition with our peers, with Naperville, Aurora, Rockford, those are the kinds of towns and cities, Peoria, that we're competing against now at the Senate level. So we continue to look forward to it. I have a lot of confidence in our staff to be able to have these bids that are competitive and that are needed here in the city of Joliet. And it's time that we start to get the things that, in recognition and funding that we have been given short shrift on for so long a time. So that concludes my report, Mayor.
If I could just add, Jim, we were told about this just weeks ago by Congressman Foster, that this was gonna be the process. So a big compliment to you and the staff. You guys worked quickly to get this done. And of course, Congressman Foster kept his word, said he was gonna shepherd as much of this through as he could. So, but again, it's a new process, the COVID bill. I was just explaining this just a couple of weeks ago, so very good job on this.
Thank you, Mayor, thank you. Thank you, staff.
Next is new business, not for final action or recommendation.
Joe?
Nope.
Eddie?
Nope, don't have anything.
Jim?
I don't know if everybody got this email today from, Ms. Spieler, but she had a whole, she was concerned about, she didn't have everyone's email yet, the new council folks. But she had a list here of ideas of, things that we might want to be able to do for, just to give one little example right now, which would kind of help us, is to, if we can, either get students to get their community service hours in to help clean up our area. There's so much garbage all over the place along the side of the roads and things of that nature. And she had suggested maybe hiring kids for the summer to do that, or maybe we could just get them to volunteer or form some type of group like that. There's so many suggestions here that maybe we should look at, but I think right now it's most important because everywhere you drive, there's just garbage. People are just throwing it out the window on Jefferson Street, on Cass Street, on Collins Street. I mean, there's garbage everywhere, and especially at our entrances. So I don't know if that's something we want to look at, Mayor, just down the road.
Sure.
But there's a whole bunch of other things, so when you all start reading it, she has some very good suggestions. That's all I have.
Sherry? I have nothing.
Next is public comments. Daniel Callen.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council. My name is Dan Callen, and I've come here tonight. It's rather serendipitous because what I'm going to address the council about was mentioned in the historic buildings in that presentation of the plans for the city for the historic buildings and construction and architecture around the city. Two glaring buildings that were not mentioned was the old Barrett's building at 65 North Ottawa Street. I have a vested interest in that building because I'm next door to it and I share a wall with that building. As far as I know, there's been nothing done in over a year to build this hotel, this Spring Hill Hotel that Mr. Pytel, and I believe he's backed by the Marriott company. I'm not sure about that, but it was a Marriott Spring Hill that he was supposed to construct there. It's been my understanding that the city council here has given the Marriott company and Mr. Pytel, it's my understanding it's $5.2 million in set-offs and tax abatements. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's what I've heard. And it's time for Mr. Patel to fish or cut bait. I hope you guys have given him the carrots, $5.2 million. I hope you kept hold of the stick because there's nothing happening in that building. It's starting to go from bad to worse. The window frames are starting to hang off the front of the building. There's 3 or 4 broken windows in the front of the building. It's terrible. It looks awful. And my suggestion, and obviously it's only a suggestion, is that Mr. Pytel be informed that, it's time to put a time limit on how long these set-offs are going to last and have him start moving this building along. If not, I would believe at some point you're going to have to condemn the building and knock it down because it is becoming an eyesore. It's become a danger. It's a fire trap. I don't know how he's insuring the property. That would be Mr. Mudron would maybe know better than I would as to how you insure an empty building. And from what I know of the Barrett's building, having bought my first baseball glove there many, many years ago, that it's a stone and beam construction. It'll go up like a match head if a fire ever starts there. So I'm inquiring as to what, if anything, is being done to promote the construction of what he planned to do. That, believe me, I'd love to see a hotel there, but there's nothing happening at that building now. So that's my public comment, and I hope somebody at the council is going to do something to spur this along. The second thing I'd like to address, another building that was not mentioned in the presentation, was the old St. Mary's Church. That building is, as you can see, is deteriorating badly. The tiles are gonna start falling off the steeple. It's going downhill very fast. It's dangerous. I understand it's a historic building. I've been noticing the steeple coming into Joliet from either east side or west side. You come down into the valley and the first thing you see is the steeple of St. Mary's Church, which was built in 1886. I have a sentimental attachment to the St. Mary's Church. My parents were married there, and 9 months later I was baptized there. So I do have an attachment to that church, but it has become a danger. I don't know what the plans are for that particular building, but it appears it's going to need to be torn down also in the near future if something's not done. I don't know if there's anything economically feasible that can be done with that building. I know people have talked about making it a senior citizens home and that type of stuff, but I think my time's up. Is that the
Yes.
bell? Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Derek, I know there's plans at St. Mary's. Do you want to address this tonight, or you want to brief the council at the next meeting about these two issues?
No, I can brief them tonight. So
Okay.
with the Barrett's Hardware Building, yes, that was supposed to be the Marriott. Construction was supposed to start last year on that. Of course, that got delayed because of COVID. It's wasn't really a good year for hotels. I have talked with them in the past 2 weeks. They are still planning on doing the hotel. However, things have changed. If you're watching the construction business right now, the price of lumber has gone through the roof. So that's dramatically changing the cost of redeveloping this building. Not just that, but then other things. I will mention that the city of Joliet, we have not given any incentives away yet. They're not getting any dollars from the city until the project is done. I will also mention that the current development agreement that we have with them expires this summer. So if there's no action taken by that time, actually the project would have to be completely done. If it's not done, then that development agreement expires. So we would actually be looking to do a new development agreement with them if that project was going to continue. They have indicated that Marriott is still on board, but it's just going to take some time. The St. Mary's Church, that has new ownership as of about 16 months ago. Another project that the property owner has said was delayed because of COVID. They do have a contract to demo the Priory building, which is right next to the St. Mary's Church. Expecting that building to come down shortly. That's a non-historic building. And then the plan is later this summer to replace the roof because as the gentleman indicated, and it is true, that is becoming more of a hazard and is also creating more damage to the inside of the building.
Thank you. Yes.
I just want to thank the city council for supporting me on this project. And again, I want to say I've bought a lot of buildings in Joliet. Every one was bankrupt. I brought over 400,000 square feet of new people downtown Joliet. And, you know, I know a lot of people say, well, why are you giving this part, like the gentleman says, giving this parking deck? This parking deck is a loser, Mayor, you know that. It's always going to be a loser. If I spend $1 million or $2 million, it's still going to be a loser, but it's going to help me bring more people downtown. I have spent $150 million in Joliet in the last 8 years. You look at the Klein's building that was going to be tore down. I spent money. The Catholic Charities building, the Pioneer building is 100 and some years old. You look at PNC Bank, it was in bankruptcy. First Midwest, you see the Turk store, it should have been tore down. But I rebuilt it, it's in beautiful, and it's full. I keep trying to help you rebuild the city. This is not about me making money. I have businesses in 5 states that make a lot of money, that were failed businesses. I bring all my money to Joliet and I've invested, and I just appreciate the people that's on this council that believe what I'm trying to do. It's not about making money. I came here very poor and I'm trying to give back to this city. And I just want you to know, I do appreciate you. And look at my buildings. I have over 1 million square feet in Joliet. Find one building violation in anything I own. I put my money where my mouth is. I put it back into, but Mary, you know that. You rent from me. I spend millions and millions of dollars trying to help you because I know what you want to rebuild your city. I'm just trying to help you before my days are over. But again, I want to thank you for having faith in me, and I really appreciate it. And I will make the parking deck beautiful for you. You'll see it's going to be way better than any parking deck you got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak under public comments?
Mayor, Council, Joe, Caesar, Jan, congratulations.
Thank you.
Most definitely. I'm here to, my name is Garland Mays. I'm here to talk about for the second time, I heard about the dollars that are supposed to go back in District 4 and 5, how their city manager is looking at taking those dollars and putting into body cameras. Now, I don't know how that works or if that can work, but I know those dollars are earmarked for District 4 and 5. I think I've been here like 5 times every other month to discuss this and willing to bring a group of people in to talk about how those dollars should be allocated in District 4 and 5. Matter of fact, Mr. Caparelli, I reached out to you via email and phone call, and I'm waiting for my phone call back. But, I really think these dollars can really do a great justice in District 4 and 5. I've talked to Councilman Morris, I've talked to Councilman Betty, Gavin, and Caesar and I'll be talking to Councilman Guerrero as well. But I really would not like, yes, the city needs body cameras, no doubt about it. But that should not be, you can't take from Peter to pay Paul on this. I don't know how the grant situation is going with body cameras. I know Will County Sheriff, they did a grant and they got the body cameras, and I'm really hoping Joliet steps up to the plate on this. We have residents throughout those 2 districts that really could use this money and do some great things with it. So it's not to jump on you, sir, but it's just saying let's have some conversations. Also, I want to commend you on the putting officers back to work that are going through situations. I think that's a great thing. We had a few officers that, of course, been sitting around for 16 months, 20 months, and they'll put them back to work until whatever happens to them. I think that's an excellent idea, and I think the taxpayers should truly appreciate that. So I look forward to having some conversations soon, and I'm here if you need me. Thank you.
Thank you.
How y'all doing, Council? Congratulations, everybody. Good to see y'all. So with the money for marijuanas, that money was earmarked for Districts 4 and 5. Okay, that money was earmarked for Districts 4 and 5. That money is written in the legislature that 3% is to go back to the communities affected by the war on drugs, which is basically a predominantly Black and brown communities. That goes to Betty's community, Mr. Morris's community, and I believe part of Ms. Quillman's community. So this is not a one-time payment of 3%. As long as there are marijuana sales, that money will come in on an annual basis of 3% based off the marijuana sales. You cannot take that money and then say you want to use it for body cameras, and especially disturbing when you gave money to people who didn't deserve it on the way out the door, and you're standing here telling us that you don't have money for body cameras. You need to find another way. So that money that's supposed to go to Districts 4 and 5 need to get to them, and then you ran off a whole list of how much money came in for this, came in for that, and we are still standing here waiting on how much money came in from marijuana sales. Can we please quit kicking the can down the road and get to the bottom of this? Thank you.
Thank you. Jim Guidotti, we've addressed this before. Do you have the numbers from the state? Have they produced them for you?
Yes.
again, we have a non-disclosure agreement with the Department of Revenue, and it's a state law. We cannot disclose how much marijuana money we got.
Are you talking about the 3% or the total amount?
Total amount, we cannot disclose any of it. Because we have 2 dispensaries, they said that if you had over 5, that you could disclose it, but since you only have 2, you cannot disclose it, and that will give other dispensaries unfair advantage.
Mayor?
Yes.
And I just want to clarify, Jim and I had talked about this some time back, and I want to make sure people have the right idea. There's nothing being hidden or kept secret here. We cannot, as a city, give out the numbers for individual businesses. So let's take liquor stores. We have, I don't know how many, maybe 12 liquor stores, 15 in the city. We cannot tell the public how much tax each of those liquor stores pay. That's against the law that Jim is referring to. Because there's so few dispensaries, retail dispensaries, we can't give it out even as a whole number, because you divide by 2 basically, right, Jim?
Correct.
That's where we're at with that. It's a state law.
As far as, you're calling it a law, has this been codified or was it just part of the agreement?
Part of the agreement with the Department of Revenue. I will look into see if it's actually a law or the agreement that we signed with them.
Right, and then ultimately, and I don't want to get out over my skis, but possibly we can go back to the state and explain our situation here. We're not hiding anything, but maybe that part of the agreement could be amended.
That's correct.
Okay.
I've contacted Springfield Department of Revenue and asked them how to get it changed, and they recommend going to our legislator.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe it's just me that see this. I don't think that Mr. Mays or Mr. Hervey asks how much money. I think they just want the money that, it is funny how the state legislators say you should do this with the money, but then the Department of Revenue say, don't tell nobody how much money that you got. It really doesn't matter how much money we receive. It's just putting money into where it was asked for the money to be put back into. We don't need to know how much that the people made. I heard on the radio today, I think marijuana made more money tax than liquor did. Maybe I was the only one who heard that on the radio. But I mean, it doesn't, I'm saying to me, it doesn't matter, Mr. Mayor, Council, Jim, how much we received in the tax. It's just that a portion of that should be put back into the communities that was affected by the drug. I mean, do that make sense? I mean, can we do that? We don't tell me how much we got. Just you and whoever decide this is whatever that 3% is or 2% or whatever, and put it back into the community. I don't know what it seems like, and I don't think it is, but we hiding behind, we can't say how much the 3% is. That's to me, it seems like that's what is being done. Instead of just saying, we have $20 to do this, or whatever it is, and do that.
Sabrina, ultimately, this is a policy decision. Is this something that should be brought to the council for a vote? Or staff makes recommendations and the city manager implements them?
I'm gonna have to talk to Jim Gadati. I'll meet with him. I've never seen the non-disclosure agreement. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it contains. So
Okay.
I think before I answer that question, I wanna sit down with Jim.
Can we address the issue at the next meeting then?
I'll set up something with him this week.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Excuse me. I tend to agree with Councilman Morris. We're not looking for how much money is in the pot. I think where our attention on this city is to what is the plan. We have not had a conversation about what that plan would look like for the disbursement of the funds. And so I'm asking that we develop a plan. We include the community to come in and give us suggestions as to what they see as well. But we must have a plan. You can't lead if you don't know where you're going. And so this particular issue that will benefit the distressed parts of the city, We need to get together and have some real conversation about what that's gonna look like. We can figure out what the dollars are later, but if we can come with a plan, and I think that the city, the council, should be involved in the planning. We've got, community leaders out there that are raging to get to the table to offer a plan. So can we at least do that? You know, that's my request. Can we do that? You know, develop that plan for that money, what that's gonna look like.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit of the chicken and the egg. I think when we had this conversation last fall, we didn't develop a plan because we didn't know what kind of money we were looking at.
Exactly, yeah,
So-
you're right, sir.
All right, can we address this in 2 weeks again?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Is there anyone else for public comment? Seeing none, next is mayor and council comments.
Joe? Betty?
Just one thing, I just wanted to catch Mr. Torrey before he leaves the room tonight. I just got some questions for him. But, yeah, I have nothing else.
Caesar?
No.
Larry?
Nothing else.
Pat? Jan?
Nope.
Jerry? All right, I got a few things. It's nice coming out of COVID, we're kind of going back to normal a little bit. Number one, Glenwood Manor had their neighborhood meeting, and the Count Street had their neighborhood meeting, Count Street group. So it was good to see those people again. I encourage people to participate in their local neighborhood groups. Last Friday, Nicor Gas in the Joliet Park District at Birdhaven had a Get Growing Foundation fair or ceremony out at Birdhaven. So thank you to Nicor Gas for coming to Joliet and doing that. Also, last Friday, I was invited to a retirement party for Mayor Doyle from Manhattan. I want to congratulate Mayor Doyle and wish him luck in his retirement. I had a conversation with John Wilson from the ballpark, or from the Slammers today. He had really exciting news about how the minor league situation is shaping up. Specifically, there's been 2 players that have been taken off the Slammers roster already and signed to major league contracts. So I asked John if he can give us something to put forward about what's going to happen there. We've talked about affiliated baseball, and it looks like the Slammers are moving towards it. So I'm looking forward to being able to present that in the near future. And then finally, I do want to congratulate and welcome. We had 10 new police officers sworn in last week. I know I think all of us are fielding some questions or complaints about NOPT officers and what's going on in the neighborhoods. We had a shortage of police officers that we're working on filling, but Chief Malik and City Manager Caparelli, thank you for that. I know we're not done, but that's a nice step forward. And that's all I have for this evening.
I did receive a request for closed session.
Your Honor, may I forgot 2 announcements that I was supposed to make. On May 15th, St. Peter's Lutheran Church, 310 Broadway in Joliet, will have 800 doses of Moderna vaccine. It is for walk-ins as well. And then the second dose will be provided on June 12th. So that is at St. Peter's Lutheran Church, 310 Broadway Street, 800 doses of the Moderna vaccine. Walk-ins are welcome. Please, please take advantage of this. And then on May the 17th, the second dose will be given to the participants at Shiloh Church. You can call 708-761-0380 to get an appointment and come back for your second dose. But there are 2 opportunities there, so let's get our vaccines. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mayor.
Mayor, just to tag on to St. Peter's, I sent a request, I got a request from a constituent that is a parishioner there. And because of the vaccines that I'll be giving there, and I emailed the police department, they would like some help with maybe a crosswalk for people that are walking back and forth to getting the vaccines. So maybe we can get some signs out there or something. I haven't heard back yet, but just, Chief, just so you're aware, I did send that out to one of the deputy chiefs for that particular day. That's all.
Is there a motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel, after which the meeting will be adjourned?
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Total Info Traffic.